Senator Bill Hagerty, Republican from the state of Tennessee, joins me now. Sir, you're on the Foreign Relations Committee. If a deal is near, what kind of a deal is it? It surely has to be the strait is open, no more enrichment of uranium, and they give up the uranium they've already produced. Can we get all of that?
I certainly think so. And if the Iranian regime, whatever's left of it, Stuart, hasn't figured this out, that President Trump absolutely means business, I think this is not going to turn out well. I think there's some optimism. You've seen it reflected in the markets that the Iranians are coming back to the table, this time in Pakistan, to talk. But President Trump's not just talking. He's putting more military might into the region. He's maintaining and increasing his leverage. We now have 5,000 Marine Expeditionary Forces moving into the area, more naval assets. President Trump is going to be speaking from a position of strength. So will Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, and the team that are negotiating this, J.D. Vance. I think we're going to have an opportunity to see if the Iranian regime has actually had an awakening here. They certainly should have. If they haven't figured this out, and again, whoever the next Ayatollah is, not a job that a lot of people are applying for, I would say. Temporary position is what it's been over the past several weeks. We're going to have to see a major shift in terms of their focus and their orientation. The strait will have to be open, as you said. President Trump has made that very clear. No nuclear capability. That's got to be clear to the Iranians right now. That will not happen. President Trump has been forceful in that demand. Meanwhile, we have devastated their Navy, their ballistic missile capabilities, their drone capabilities, their launch capabilities. That will continue until this comes to an end.
Reportedly close to a deal on funding DHS, Department of Homeland Security. Will you agree to severe restrictions on ICE?
So the Democrats have made clear that they absolutely hate ICE. In fact, Chuck Schumer was calling them thugs. This is one of the reasons that we had a major event yesterday in Memphis to demonstrate our support for law enforcement. What the Democrats seem to want to stand for is the, quote, rights of illegal aliens in America over the rights of American citizens. You see it at every turn. We are not going to stand for major constrictions. We're going to find a way to navigate through this. I think that we'll find a way to, again, get the DHS back open. Now that Markwayne Mullin is going to be sworn in this afternoon, I'm very optimistic that that will happen. And again, we're looking at every tool that we have at our disposal through the reconciliation process, et cetera, to address the full funding needs of the Department of Homeland Security, including all of the resources that ICE needs to operate, function, and do their job.
You're the senator from Tennessee. I want you to listen to what President Trump had to say about plummeting crime rates in Memphis.
In the year before I took office, Memphis saw more than 12,500 violent assaults, 429 rapes, and 7,600 burglaries and armed robberies. Here in Memphis, we've achieved one of the largest, fastest declines in violent crime ever recorded. That includes a 60% drop in robberies, a 74% drop in carjacking, and motor vehicle thefts. These numbers are right on line to be among the best that we've done.
Senator, that is impressive. Can what Trump did in Memphis work in other major cities?
It absolutely can, and I think that was another one of the things on display yesterday. It doesn't have it doesn't take much to see the product of cooperation that happens at a local level, a state level, and a federal level. When we have our agencies cooperating, we're delivering massively impressive results. Sadly, we lost control of Memphis. The crime situation there coming out of the pandemic was out of control, and on a per capita basis, the numbers were dismal. President Trump mentioned the dramatic decline that we've had, and that's because we've had a Democrat mayor in the city of Memphis who was willing to cooperate with a Republican governor and a Republican federal leadership. We worked hand in glove. You cannot tell when you're on the ground which agency is which because we're working so well together. The local police department, the sheriff's office, working very well with state troopers, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and again, multiple federal agencies. We've had dramatic results there. You look no further than Memphis to see what success looks like. And then look at the Democrat-controlled cities like Minneapolis, Minnesota. Again, the Democrats' resistance movement, ever since they lost the election in November 2024, has been to create chaos and bedlam on the streets of America. It seems that they're willing to subject their own citizens to danger, to a lack of safety, to victimization, not only by illegal aliens, but just crime in general. Memphis is going to stand as a wonderful example of what the type of collaboration and cooperation can look like if we can bring safety back to American streets. Again, Memphis should be a shining star for the rest of the nation to follow.
Senator, congratulations. Thanks very much for being with us.
Sir.
See you again soon.
Thank you so much.